Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb. So let's have a little chat about the Epstein files because they are front and center and they are just, just driving Donald Trump nuts. Okay. And this is a good thing. So here's where we are. The Democrats are finally playing hardball. Okay. And there are some Republicans joining with them, I might add, because the Democrats are trying to force votes to release the Epstein files. Okay. And that is something that the Republicans and Donald Trump in particular does not want to happen because, quite frankly, Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files. Okay. All over it. Now, I'm not denying that there may be some Democrats in there, but I'm pretty much sure those people are out of office now. And it does not matter one iota to the Democrats who they might be. Might it be Bill Clinton? It might be. It could very well be. But the Democrats are moving past the Clinton era, okay? And they don't care. They want those files released. So where are we now? This is where we are. Mike Johnson is sending everybody home early because he doesn't want to vote on this. He does not want to vote on this in the House, okay? So he's adjourning Congress early. They were supposed to get out on Thursday night for a month-long vacation because, of course, the Republican side of the aisle has been working just so hard since Donald Trump was inaugurated. They've been working not very hard, in fact, because Donald Trump is ruling like a dictator. He's ruling by decree, okay? He barely uses his Congress. So he's sending everybody home today to avoid that. They'll be back on September 2nd. Here's where we need to be when they return, okay? We need to make sure that we, the people, continue to hound the Congress about releasing the Epstein files. And we need to make sure our Democratic lawmakers understand that we want those files released so that when they come back, they make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get his wish, which is that this all blows over. It all blows over and we all forget about them. No way, no how. So let's talk about the irony of all of this when it comes to MAGA, okay? Because here's a guy who is hurting them with his policies, like his budget, as much as he's hurting, say, just the average Democratic citizen, okay? I will say this until my eyes bleed. MAGA is on Medicaid and MAGA is on food stamps because they're in my store every single day. Every day. Okay? MAGA is hurting as much as the average American is. Okay? The average Democratic American is. You know, people who are marginalized aren't just on the left-hand side of the aisle. Okay, that's what they want you to believe, but that is absolutely not true. Okay, rural America is largely Republican, and they are getting screwed by Donald Trump's policies. But what is the one thing that is bringing Donald Trump to the brink? It isn't that. It isn't cutting Medicaid. It isn't cutting food stamps. It isn't screwing over the farmer by killing USAID and taking away 30% of their business. It's failure to release the Epstein files. And there are reasons for this. Because the true MAGA people are steeped in conspiracy theory. They are, the children of QAnon who still believes that there is this vast satanic cult that is trafficking children for sex, okay? And there's no question in my mind that many of them believe that the people doing the trafficking are Democrats. And this is why they're so adamant about getting these files released. So what this is pretty much come down to is the fact that they're not so concerned with the fact that they're going to get screwed on Medicaid, they're going to get screwed on food stamps, and that, financially, economically, Donald Trump is wreaking havoc where they live. The thing that's pissing off MAGA is that they were had by him, because he promised up and down, all through his campaign, that he would release those files, right? He promised that. He promised that would be one of the first things that Pam Bondi dealt with. He would release the files and released the list. Now, all of a sudden, there isn't a list. The whole Epstein file thing is made up by the Democrats. You know who made it up? You can't believe it. The script cannot be written any more ridiculously, okay? It was made up by the Clintons, the Obamas, and Biden. That's who made up the Epstein files. It's all fake. None of them were ever real from the beginning. So we have a man who campaigned on that with MAGA and is now telling them that he lied to them while he was campaigning and all this shit was made up. He is, without a doubt, the stupidest man in America. So we must make sure that he looks as stupid as he really is when he comes back and his cohorts come back to Washington after the summer break. And we must demand that those files are released. We must be on the phones, writing letters, sending emails. I don't care if they're not in their offices. Flood their offices so that when they get back, there's thousands of messages, thousands of emails demanding that those files be released. This is how stupid they are. What did they do just a couple days ago? They released the Martin Luther King files, the assassination files, and Hillary Clinton's email files. I got bad news for you. That's not going to make the Epstein files go away. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody. Okay? The only thing, as Dr. King's daughter said, is that it's making her relive the pain from when she was 5 years old. And you know what? That's just pure and utter cruelty in my book. And she then posted a picture of her father. And underneath it, it said, "Now release the Epstein files." Kudos to her. We must make sure that we don't let this die. This is Donald Trump's true Achilles heel, as much as we like it to be something more important. Okay? This is just as important because it's his Achilles heel, and there is accountability to be had. The files should be released. And then it is at least a measure of corroboration for the women who have been talking about this for decades. I will talk to you all later.